Now at 9, the city of Joplin discusses plans to relieve traffic on 32nd Street. Plus, Cherokee County residents see a hike in property taxes. We look at why. And details on a manhunt in Humboldt, Kansas that forced schools to go into a soft lockdown.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some Cherokee County, Kansas residents are surprised with an increase in their property tax. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Fernanda Silva went to the county courthouse to understand the reasons for the higher taxes.
I have some work I need to do in my house, which it may have to back off on doing that because of this.
This, that the Cherokee County resident Barbara Bilk is referring to, is an increase in her property taxes.
Oh, it raised my taxes $400 a year, which for me, a single person, that's quite a bit.
We spoke to the county clerk, a commissioner, and the county appraiser to understand the reason behind that increase. According to the county commissioner, Corey Motes, the county mill is increasing by 3% compared to last year, leading to an increase in property taxes. Motes says that while the proposed budget for 2024 is almost $1.2 million less than the 2023 budget, the carryover reserve was less than the commissioners expected.
Whenever we do our budgets, we have to forecast 6 months ahead of time how much carryover from this budget is going to carry over into the next budget. And what has happened is we forecasted a certain amount of monies to be carryover to 2024. Those monies weren't there that we thought was going to be there, so therefore we had to increase the mill levy to make up the difference in the carryover from 23 to 24.
According to Motes, county commissioners decide if the mill goes up or down. For David Thornton, county appraiser, the reason for the increase in property taxes is the funds that are being requested by the taxing entities.
Like school districts, cities, counties, the state. I think we have like Southeast Kansas Library and some smaller ones like that, your townships if you're rural.
According to Rebecca Brassard, Cherokee County Clerk, another reason for the increased property tax is the fact that the county was not in compliance with the state's valuation requirements. According to the Kansas Department of Revenue Properties Valuation Division, when a county is out of compliance with the state, that means that they are failing to meet the acceptable standards for property appraisals.
We had to raise valuations to get into compliance with that market ratio that the state was requesting. So from that, you can see that would cause an increase in everyone's taxes.
Been implementing some substantial increases, which is larger than what we would have normally in any time in the past, to try to catch back up to be in compliance. Just because your value goes up doesn't mean your taxes will go up. Okay. So that's where I come in and say there's no direct effect. In theory, I could take everybody's value and cut it in half. The taxing entities are still going to collect their funds to fund the city, schools, the county, etc. So what that will create then is if everybody's value is cut in half and they collect the exact same amount of money, then that levy would have to double to collect the same amount of funds.
According to Brassard, people can ask for a revision on their property tax.
They can fill out the payment under protest in the treasurer's office when they pay that first half taxes. Okay. Yes. And then if they're not happy with the decision made, then they have that option.
Barbara says she will try to protest the value.
Well, I don't like it, but I know everything's going up, so sometimes you have to take it.
In Columbus, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The Kansas Department of Revenue's Property Valuation Division said they're going to try to visit with the Cherokee County Commissioners at a county commission meeting before the end of the year. PVD declined our interview request. You can watch all 3 complete interviews and read some documents they share with us at our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, definitely turned out to be another nice day for us today. Temperatures have been great, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. The past few days, 60 today, 31 was our low. Average high is 48, so 12 degrees above that mark. It's going to be very similar once again as we get into the daytime hours on Thursday. However, tracking a storm system out to the west. Look at the rain out through parts of Oklahoma. Snow once you get into the Rocky Mountains. But this whole storm system moving very slowly, but it is actually heading toward us, and this is going to give us rain chances, especially by the time we head into Friday, and those chances increasing as we go through the daytime hours on Friday. Not tonight. Clouds will thicken for us tomorrow. We'll drop back to about 36 degrees. Of course, we're going to look at this storm system rolling in coming up here in just a bit. Dow.
See you soon. Humboldt, Kansas schools went into a soft lockdown today. That lockdown occurred as police tried to serve a search warrant for a burglary suspect who then fled. That suspect was captured around 3:10 this afternoon. The soft lockdown meant the elementary school conducted recess inside the building, and middle school students rode a bus to their activities this afternoon instead of walking. A bomb scare brought the Kansas Highway Patrol to Chanute today. According to the KHP, the report came from the area of the Pizza Hut. Authorities closed Santa Fe Avenue from 15th Street to 21st Street. The latest word from the Chanute Police Department is authorities have resolved the incident and Santa Fe has reopened to normal traffic. Authorities are trying to determine the cause of a fire that destroyed a Galena, Kansas home this afternoon. Firefighters from Galena, Baxter Springs, Carl Junction, and the Quapaw Nation all responded to that fire at 407 Bellevue. Galena police helped get the residents out of the home. Residents did get some medical treatment at the scene, but no one went to the hospital. The fire gutted the home, and an initial investigation indicates it might have had an electrical cause. The Missouri Department of Transportation hopes to relieve traffic congestion on East 32nd Street in Joplin. The area in question is by the General Mills plant, an area that not only sees heavy 18-wheeler traffic, but also trains. Eventually, the plan could have major implications for traffic there. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more about that project.
MoDOT plans to ease traffic congestion along East 32nd Street and Stevens Boulevard by placing a traffic light at the intersection.
It's been a problem area for quite some time for us, and we realize the traffic does back up there and the stop sign's problematic.
This is a precursor to MoDOT's next project, improving Davis Boulevard near the railroad crossing.
Safety concern also with it being so close to the railroad and having the trains come through also so close to the intersection.
Davis Boulevard will relocate to Stevens Boulevard. Once this is done, MoDOT is planning to build a bridge over the CP-KC Railroad.
Expect construction to be in 2025, and we don't tie down the exact dates. It'll just occur sometime between probably mid-March and the 1st of November. 1st of November 2025 is the completion date.
MoDOT says they're trying to make it easier for semi-trucks to turn on to 32nd Street. A KOAM article about the project proposal brought up several comments. One truck driver is in support, emphasizing the long wait times for turning onto 32nd Street with a semi. Another trucker believes relocating Davis Boulevard and Stevens Boulevard would make driving a semi more difficult because of sharp turns. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Now you can give your comments about that upcoming project by going to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, the Supreme Court weighing in on a controversial issue.
The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case on the FDA's approval process for the abortion pill. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington. How their decision could impact access to the pill for millions of women coming up.
The Supreme Court's going to take up its first abortion-related case since it overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022. The case centers on the abortion pill and how the FDA regulates it. It's a decision that could impact millions of American women. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more now from Washington.
The Supreme Court is getting back into the abortion debate, agreeing to review a lower court decision limiting access to the abortion pill.
President Biden and Vice President Harris will continue to fight to defend women's ability to access reproductive care.
It's not about whether abortion is legal or illegal. It's about the method in which it's provided. That's what this case is focused on.
A Fifth Circuit judge ruled the abortion pill should be more regulated after concluding the FDA did not fully consider the potential health risks to women when it revised regulations for the drug, including extending the window the abortion pill can be used from 7 to 10 weeks of pregnancy and allowing the drug to be mailed.
The Biden administration has removed those safeguards and essentially created a mail order abortion scheme that induces labor and delivery for women in an unmanaged and unsupervised way.
The drug, known as mifepristone, is allowed in 37 states and is one of the most common abortion methods in the U.S. With the Supreme Court ruling expected in late June, the abortion issue will be front and center once again during the presidential campaign season.
We have to humanize this situation and deal with it with compassion.
That I think is important to point out is Donald Trump flip-flopping on the right to life.
While the Supreme Court decision is on hold, access to the abortion pill will not change. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
More than 1 in 4 pregnant people exposed to cannabis have an unhealthy pregnancy outcome. According to researchers at the University of Utah Health, that's about 1.5 times higher than those who avoid the drug. They found the strongest association with low birth rates. Other risks include pregnancy-related high blood pressure, stillbirth, and medically indicated preterm birth. More than 13,000 additional cases of bladder, lung, and skin cancers every year in the U.S. can be attributed to eating inorganic arsenic. A study by the Society for Risk Analysis found rice, wheat, and leafy green vegetables carry a greater cancer risk than other foods. They say crops can absorb heavy metals from contaminated soil, air, and water. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later a Diamond High School softball standout commits to play at the college level. We're going to have details in sports.
Well, of course, another nice day for us today. Temperatures right around 60 degrees, which is great. We should only be topping out into the upper 40s for this time of the year. Let's go outside. Here's a nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, of course, our tower cam downtown, looking off toward the northeast. Great shot. It's dry. It's going to stay dry as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Temperatures eventually back to about 36. Rebound back to our average high for this time of the year by 10 a.m. as we're going to see those great temperatures once again as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. All right, clouds thickening up. Kansas into Oklahoma. I think partly sunny skies in the morning, cloudy skies, or at least mostly cloudy tomorrow afternoon. But we've been tracking this storm system out to our west. Covers a lot of real estate, but it's overall fairly weak and it's moving really slow. You can see a little rain snow mix western Kansas. You get into the snow, Colorado Springs up toward Denver, and then if you track farther south, you get rain once you get through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. But what this is what we call cutoff low. You can see the area of low pressure. What's it cut off from? The main jet stream way up into Canada. So nothing really shoves it off toward the east. So it just slowly meanders toward us. And that's what we're going to see as we go through the next few days. All right, well, let's move all the way into Saturday morning. Here it comes. Rain rolls in. A little back wave pushes it out as we head into early next week. Now, I do want you to notice this. Look at this big ridge. That means we get great temperatures again early next week. Here's Tuesday, but I also want to focus our attention late next week because that's the weekend right before Christmas, and of course, the following Sunday is Christmas Eve. All this mess starts to roll in, so we're going to really be talking about that as we get into the next week. All right, let's go through the next 48 hours. Temperatures tonight, 36, 37. Not quite as cold as what we had during the morning hours. Clouds thicken during the morning, mostly cloudy in the afternoon. Look at our highs, near 60 once again. Cloudy skies tomorrow night. Look at the rain creeping closer. So here's Friday morning. It sneaks into southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Here's the noon hour, and then it gets into the metro once we get into Friday afternoon and evening, and then just periods of rain, which we need badly, Friday night into Saturday morning. Now, it's not going to be really heavy, but we'll take what we can get. I think a lot of us will get a 1/4 of an inch, upwards to 1/2 an inch, which, hey, we definitely need. Day planner on you Thursday, 37 to start, 56 by noon, high of 60, dropping back to 58 by the time we get to about 4 p.m. 59 on Friday, cooler Saturday with those showers. Sunshine returns Sunday, 55. pretty good stretch next week, and then we have those rain chances moving back in by next weekend. Dow?
Doug, thanks. Coming up, how a drop in students learning foreign languages is impacting the economy. The Federal Reserve leaves interest rates unchanged for the third straight time. The Fed concluded its two-day meeting today by keeping interest rates at a range of 5.25% to 5.5%. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed's goal is to bring down inflation. Policymakers at the Federal Reserve expect 3 rate cuts in 2024. In today's fast-paced global economy, knowing more than one language could make you a more marketable employee. But as more businesses look to hire people with foreign language skills, many positions are staying empty. Fox News' Chris DeMayo takes a closer look at the negative impacts that can stem from students not studying a foreign language.
The number of American college students learning a foreign language is in steep decline, and academic experts say the trend could spell disaster for the health and wealth of the nation.
Declines in language study and the lack of knowledge of other languages have made the nation vulnerable on an international stage, weakening national security as well as the economy.
Deborah Cohn of Indiana University says the decrease noticeably began in 2009.
A November 2023 report by the Modern Language Association shows that college-level enrollments fell almost 17% between 2016 and 2021. This continues a trend since the Great Recession, where enrollments have fallen almost 30% nationwide between 2009 and 2021.
With many of the most commonly taught languages still being impacted.
Arabic fell by almost 35%, Chinese by almost 25%, French by 37%, German by 44%, and Spanish by 32%.
Cohen says a lack of foreign language proficiency is bad for businesses, as well as many prospective employees looking for a job.
Employers need language skills to compete in today's economy. Many U.S. jobs depend on global trade, and research has shown that the number of job postings seeking workers with foreign language skills is increasing rapidly.
So far, it's been especially true for many government positions.
In 2020, nearly a quarter of the State Department's overseas positions were held by people that did not meet the language proficiency requirements for their jobs. The Department of Defense cannot fill many of its 30,000 positions that require languages.
Chris DeMayo, Fox News.
3 popular retailers are pulling a product marketed to children. Amazon, Target, and Walmart have voluntarily stopped selling water beads after lawmakers and public health officials called for a ban on the toys. Officials say when exposed to liquid, they can expand to 100 times their initial size and weight, posing a risk for children if ingested. Up next, NASA is giving us its most detailed look inside an exploding star ever captured. NASA has released this new image of the youngest supernova remnant in our galaxy called Cassiopeia A, or Cas-A. It was taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. This is the closest and most detailed look inside that exploded star. Astronomers used Webb's near-infrared camera to see the supernova remnant at different wavelengths of light than those used in previous observations. The image could help researchers better understand the processes that fuel these massive incendiary events. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Some Carthage second graders create an itty-bitty city as part of a project studying economics. Plus, Missouri American Water hands out a grant to the Boys and Girls Club.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Students at Columbian Elementary School in Carthage created their own shops and stores, then opened up for business this afternoon. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
Economics is not the easiest concept to understand. How do you feel about the current economic status of the United States government?
I don't know.
I think that's how most people feel. How do you feel about the current economic status of the United States?
What's that?
Perfect. That's a great answer. However, these second graders at Columbian Elementary School in Carthage are becoming quite the entrepreneurs.
So they are very impressed with the level of professionalism that the kids show, even though they're only 7 and 8. But they're very polite. They offer their goods. They take your money. They're very good at counting your money and making sure that they're running their store as nicely as they can. So.
Some even saying that this is just a foreshadow into what they want to do when they grow up. Do you want to own your own business one day?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a puppet business?
No.
What kind of business are you going to own?
I'm gonna be a coach for teaching kids who want to play soccer.
Others selling goods for those who may just need some grub. And what can we find at your snack shop?
Rice Krispie dipped in marshmallow, dipped in white chocolate.
But before these businesses hit the street, there may be a little bit more these kids have to learn. Do these paper airplanes follow FFA regulations?
I don't know.
There's no shortage of goods here at the itty bitty city, and don't worry, the prices, they're negotiable. Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Second grade students opened up their businesses to first graders and staff members, all of whom received a bag of money of sorts to spend at each shop. Missouri American Water rains down a monetary donation to a Joplin charity. Today, the MAW presented a check to the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri for a workforce readiness grant. It amounted to $6,000.
Donations like this for our workforce readiness program is very important because we have a lot of kids that are entering the workforce, and we want to make sure that they have the skills that they need to thrive.
I think that workforce readiness is really critical because we're looking at a time where we need to really develop skills in young people to be able to enter the workforce. So I think this is something that can ultimately make the community stronger.
The grant is part of the American Water Charitable Foundation's Keep Communities Flowing grant program. It focuses on 3 pillars of giving water, people, and communities. President Biden called out Republicans after they voted to launch a formal impeachment inquiry into his involvement with his son Hunter's business dealings. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has the latest from Washington.
The yeas are 221 and the nays are 212. The resolution is adopted.
The House formalizing an impeachment inquiry into President Biden with a vote split along party lines.
Today's unanimous vote by our conference showed that we are united as a conference.
Republicans believe the vote will now give them full authority like subpoena enforcement as they try to link President Biden to his son's business dealings. The move comes after Hunter skipped a closed-door deposition on Wednesday, wary of Republicans potentially distorting his testimony. Hunter says he will only testify in public. GOP members have likened his and the president's moves to stonewalling.
They specifically said we will not comply with certain aspects of subpoenas and information requests absent an inquiry vote of the legislature of Congress.
Meanwhile, the president is slamming the vote as baseless as Democrats accuse Republicans of prioritizing a partisan stunt over other crucial issues.
Good luck to all these Republicans who have to go home and justify a sham impeachment to their districts while telling them that we haven't passed the budget, we haven't reauthorized the Farm Bill, we haven't done a single thing that helps Americans live their lives.
They also criticized Republicans of simply doing former President Trump's bidding.
We're here today not because of any wrongdoing by President Biden, but because Donald Trump wants revenge.
So far, Republicans have found no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden, but an impeachment investigation that would extend well into 2024 is another political headache for him as he ramps up his re-election campaign. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
A bit later, we're going to explain why our set is missing all those toys we've had the past few weeks.
Well, of course, another nice day for us today. Temperatures right around 60 degrees, which is great. We should only be topping out into the upper 40s for this time of the year. Let's go outside. Here's a nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, of course, our tower cam downtown, looking off toward the northeast. Great shot. It's dry. It's going to stay dry as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Temperatures eventually back to about 36. rebound back to our average high for this time of the year by 10 a.m. as we're going to see those great temperatures once again as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. All right, clouds thickening up, Kansas into Oklahoma. I think partly sunny skies in the morning, cloudy skies, or at least mostly cloudy tomorrow afternoon. But we've been tracking this storm system out to our west. Covers a lot of real estate, but it's overall fairly weak and it's moving really slow. You can see a little rain snow mix western Kansas. You get into the snow, Colorado Springs up toward Denver, and then if you track farther south, you get rain once you get through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. But what this is what we call cutoff low. You can see the area of low pressure. What's it cut off from? The main jet stream way up into Canada. So nothing really shoves it off toward the east. So it just slowly meanders toward us. And that's what we're going to see as we go through the next few days. All right, well, let's move all the way into Saturday morning. Here it comes. Rain rolls in. A little back wave pushes it out as we head into early next week. Now, I do want you to notice this. Look at this big ridge. That means we get great temperatures again early next week. Here's Tuesday, but I also want to focus our attention late next week because that's the weekend right before Christmas, and of course, the following Sunday is Christmas Eve. All this mess starts to roll in. So we're going to really be talking about that as we get into the next week. All right, let's go through the next 48 hours. Temperatures tonight, 36, 37. Not quite as cold as what we had during the morning hours. Clouds thicken during the morning, mostly cloudy in the afternoon. Look at our highs, near 60 once again. Cloudy skies tomorrow night. Look at the rain creeping closer. So here's Friday morning. It sneaks into southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Here's the noon hour. And then it gets into the metro once we get into Friday afternoon and evening, and then just periods of rain, which we need badly, Friday night into Saturday morning. Now, it's not going to be really heavy, but we'll take what we can get. I think a lot of us will get a quarter of an inch, upwards to half an inch, which, hey, we definitely need. Day planner on you Thursday, 37 to start, 56 by noon, high of 60, dropping back to 58 by the time we get to about 4 p.m. 59 on Friday, cooler Saturday with those showers. Sunshine returns Sunday, 55. Pretty good stretch next week, and then we have those rain chances moving back in by next weekend.
Doug, thanks. Nearly 200 nations have approved a first ever call for the world to transition away from planet-warming fossil fuels that could cause climate change. Delegates at the World Climate Summit have agreed on the long-term, non-binding agreement that comes as global temperatures hit an all-time high. European researchers declared 2023 the hottest year ever recorded on Earth.
This is the fastest, simplest, easiest, quickest, cheapest way to be able to make the gains we need to make to reduce the threat to the planet.
This has the potential to be the beginning of a new era. The post-fossil era.
The agreement aims to triple the amount of renewable energy sources by 2030 while relying less on fossil fuels, substantially reducing methane emissions, another potent greenhouse gas, this decade, and achieve net zero carbon emissions globally by mid-century. Coming up in sports, 3 Pitt State football players are named AP All-Americans. Plus, highlights from the championship round of the Mustang Classic basketball tournament. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
Caitlin Surrey, the 2023 Southwest Conference Player of the Year for softball and a 2022 state champion, signs her national letter of intent at Diamond High School today to compete at the collegiate level. The high school senior is staying here in the 4 states. She's going to Labette Community College to join the Cardinals, a decision that she says became much easier after going on a visit and being able to witness firsthand what Labette's program is all about.
I really liked their culture and their coaching staff. I really liked meeting the players and seeing how they are and how they act towards each other. They're great people to hang around with, and I really enjoyed being at the college and being on campus with them.
The Mustang Classic basketball tournament concludes tonight on the girls' side. Meanwhile, the boys portion begins this evening. McDonald County boys basketball at home tonight, opening round of the Mustang Classic for them. They're against Rush High School out of Nixa, Missouri. In the first quarter, Cale Carlin gets the steal here, and he's able to finish with the first bucket of the night for the Mustangs. Later in the half, Carlin again finding space to knock down the mid-range jumper. He had 17 points in this one. McDonald County down by 3, but it passes around the horn, and there's Josh Pacheco, who hits the 3 in the corner. McDonald County was down by more than 20 at halftime. In the second half, Ryan Ray open. He drains the 3 here for Rush. Next Rush possession, Garrett Rudy gets in transition, and the layup is good. McDonald County did make this game very interesting in the closing minutes, but wasn't enough. Mustangs fall to Rush 57-52. In the girls' game tonight, McDonald County in the championship of the Mustang Classic. Lady Mustangs facing the Farmington Cardinals out of Arkansas. Down 8 points in the first quarter. Caitlin Townsend picks up the rebound off the miss, puts it back in. First point of the night for the Mustangs. Farmington, on the other hand, ready to play. Zoe Bershers is there for the high-low action layup. Good. Farmington gets the ball back quickly. Bershers shoots it from beyond the arc this time. Three-pointer is good. Cardinals up by 16 points. Lady Mustangs looking to draw an answer out of the timeout. Roslyn Hudson fights for the rebound, puts it off the glass and in for 2. But Farmington, a little bit too much to handle tonight. No one is there to guard Maddie Young. She knocks down the three-pointer. All Farmington. Cardinals defeat the Mustangs 77-36. McDonald County finishes runner-ups in the Mustang Classic. And over to college football. 3 Pittsburgh State players are named AP All-Americans. Offensive lineman Trace Jeffries, who just finished his final season in Pittsburgh. Linebacker Jack Barkley, who has 1 year of eligibility remaining. Both of those 2 players, team captains this season, and both are second-team All-Americans. Then tight end Devin Garrison is a first-team All-American. He just wrapped up his 6th collegiate season. He led the nation in receiving yards by a tight end with 855. But I think a lot of the news that we've had with Pitt State football recently is the team from this year into next year going to have some fresh faces on it, some new impact players.
Yes, some of them entering the transfer portal, and of course a new head football coach.
Yeah.
Still, they're building on another undefeated regular season, so the hopes are high.
That's right, yeah.
We'll be right back. You might notice that the mountain of toys you've seen pile up on the set in recent weeks is now all gone. That's because all those toys and hundreds of others were bagged up today with the help of our partner 5 Star Moving and sent to various charitable organizations in counties all across the 4 states. Those organizations will get them to children in need in our area. Our photojournalist Trevor Lewis gives us a glimpse of this toy moving day. Big thank you to everyone who made our Toy Box campaign possible and successful again this year. Coming up, we're going to hear from a grandpa who went viral after falling into his granddaughter's crib while tucking her in. Used to be if you were featured on an episode of Cribs, it meant you had an impressive house. Well, one California grandfather might have been able to get on for a completely different reason. Jeannie Most reports.
A loving grandpa goes to tuck in his granddaughter and ends up tucking himself in. No wonder Ramon Aranda is laughing as he looks at the now viral video, laughing at all of our questions.
So both of you were in the crib with your shoes on.
His then 2-year-old granddaughter, Lena, had been climbing out of the crib, so they lowered the mattress a little too low for Ramon, who proceeded to lose his balance and his phone. Watch it flashing like it's disco night at bingo, as someone commented. But Ramon just calmly adjusted his glasses, stood up and climbed out. He says even as he fell, he was careful not to land on her with his 165 pounds.
I just love my granddaughter to death, that's for sure, because that's the only one we have.
You almost loved her to death.
Once out of the crib, Ramon immediately gave Lena her bottle, and then as he was leaving, her mom Kelsey says
she kicked her feet up at the end to take her shoes off.
But Ramon was too rattled to remember to take off her shoes. He never actually told Lena's mom, who only found the mishap on video because she was helping Grandpa look for his phone.
I would have been embarrassed if somebody saw me.
Now millions have. Mom posted it on TikTok 1.5 years after it was shot. Even a lullaby. Rock-a-bye baby wouldn't have made this a normal nap. And down will come Grandpa, cradle and all.
A lot of us can kind of imagine that maybe happening to us. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a gibbon enjoying a special treat for her 29th birthday. Let's make it a great tomorrow.